Hey everyone, this is Josh Hayward and welcome to episode 2 of 31 Days of Pumpkin. Yesterday we started it off with the Ichabod Pumpkin Ale from New Holland. Today we've got the Imperial Pumpkin Ale from Weyerbacher Brewing. Weyerbacher is actually from Easton, Pennsylvania. I'd actually never heard of them, but actually when I was in the search for all these pumpkin ales, found this one around probably the most. Second only to 20 Pounds of Pumpkin by Sam Adams. Found that pretty much everywhere. This one showed up at lots of different bottle shops, kind of all over the area where I live. But this particular one is an ale brew with pumpkin and spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, and cloves. 8% alcohol ABV. So, yeah, we're going to see what we've got. I don't know anything about Weyerbacher. Don't know anything about any of their brews. But I know that they're a craft brewery, and this one looks pretty tasty. I guess from the bottle at least, it's got a pumpkin with a crown on his head and whatnot. You see some pretty crazy artwork on some of these pumpkin ales, some of these bottles and whatnot. But let's see what we've got. All right, get a little more in there. Not a proper pour, but that's quite all right. Okay, so this particular beer is kind of a deep orange color, kind of a deep amber. If you look, wow, it's pretty neat here. I don't think you can see, but you've got the really dark orangey type color, and then it goes even lighter. It goes several shades lighter, kind of in the bottom of the snifter glass here. Looks really neat, almost like it layers in a way. It's just a reflection in the glass, but really pretty looking beer. Again, very hazy. That comes from just the pulp of the pumpkin that's used in a lot of these particular brews. More times than not, if you find a very clear pumpkin ale, they didn't use real pumpkin in it. And I can say that because having brewed with it, it's very hard to get that cloudiness out. It comes from, like I said, that the pulp or the body of a pumpkin. And another thing about pumpkin ales, this is a carving pumpkin. You carve it up, it's really hollow on the inside. You know, you've still got the seeds and whatnot. But if these type of pumpkins that's used in pumpkin brews, they're actually smaller. They're almost like your the small pumpkins you see in the grocery store for pumpkin pies and whatnot. There's a lot more fruit, a lot more pulp in it. They're more hardy. They're less hollow. So basically, they cut these things up, roast them up, dice them up, put them in the mash or whatever. But this, comparing to the one from yesterday, it's a darker type brew. Also, this is an Imperial, so anytime you hear Imperial, you're going to think a little higher alcohol. I believe the one from last night was like 4.5. This one's 8. So that darker color kind of comes in there too. They've used some darker malts in this. More darker malts. They're going to be sweeter, more sugar, leads to more alcohol. Hence Imperial. So very pretty beer there. You do have that cloudiness, that haziness in there that comes from the pumpkin. As far as oh shoot, I spilled some of that there. Trying to get a little swirl there. My own fault for filling up that glass a little more. I wanted to get a good swirl on this. It is a tan, kind of an off-white tan type head there. Rather frothy when you give it a good swirl. And as I swirl that up, those spicy aromas are already hitting me. So before this thing settles down, I'm gonna see what we've got on the nose. Lots. This is very fragrant. Again, fall on a glass. Just one of the things I like about these pumpkin ales. You just feel like fall. All right, so definitely getting that nutmeg in there. Nutmeg's kind of a drier type spice. Getting some. When you smell these, I gotta stop. When you smell these pumpkin ales, sometimes you gotta step away, kind of clear your airways, your nostrils, your palate, kind of get some fresh air, and then go back to it because there's so many different kinds of spices in these. Sometimes there's just so much going on; it's hard to really tell. A little bit of cinnamon in there. Kind of getting more of that pumpkin pie spice, and we're gonna have that pretty much on every one of these particular these brews, because a pumpkin pie spice is kind of a mixture of allspice and nutmeg and clove and cinnamon and things. But yeah, definitely getting those particular spices in there. A little bit of a maltiness in there, not too much. Again, these spices are going to drown out a lot of the malts. We've done some other videos looking at IPAs and stouts and other kinds of beers, and that malt, usually the type of malt, as well as just the fragrance of it is so apparent. These with the spices, it's tough to pick up on it. It's tough to really pick up on any of that. So I keep smelling it, just trying to really get as much as I can from it. But I think that's as good as I'm going to be able to do. It's got some pumpkin spices in it, I'm sure of that. So let's see what we've got. Cheers. Okay. Definitely heavier than the beer from last night. That's good. That's good. That's pretty good, actually. Heavier beer for sure. Darker color, more alcohol, 8% as opposed to 4.5% the other night. And you can taste that. And these pumpkin beers, you can definitely taste when they have higher alcohol content. So I guess it's something about just what's in the brew. But you're getting that alcohol type taste, that quote unquote boozy taste in this one. It comes in, man, it hits you immediately. That alcohol taste hits you immediately. Kind of goes to the back part of your throat. I'm tasting that a little bit more than these spices, which is kind of neat. Different take on a pumpkin ale. Typically, all you taste are those spices in there. But this, being that this is an imperial, higher alcohol content, I'm tasting more of that in there. This is, as I've poured this thing, it looks like it's starting to clear up just a little bit. It's a heavier beer for sure. You can feel that, you can taste that, a little bit heavier mouthfeel. It's not hard to drink though. It's rather kind of like a medium, easy type drinking pumpkin beer. You can definitely tell though as you continue to sip on it, it's heavy. It's heavier, I should say. Getting those spices in there, getting lots of clove as I continue to sip on it. Definitely getting some clove in that. Not much pumpkin. There's a lot of dryness in this beer. As I sip and as I talk, I'm feeling more and more dryness on the back side of my throat, the back palate there. But yeah, not a bad beer here either. Very different take from Ichabod that we did last night. Kind of taking more of the heavier alcohol type approach, but still getting that pumpkin flavor in there. No complaints. Interesting beer. Yeah, as I continue to sip, that alcohol is what I'm getting most. I guess because I know that it's a pumpkin beer and it's just kind of different tasting than most I've had. But very good. Cheers to Weyerbacher out of Pennsylvania. Cheers to you guys for following along to day 2 of 31 days of pumpkin. And you guys have a good one. Take care.